In a world addicted to noise, silence is seen as a threat. Not because it's weak, but because it's powerful, unpredictable, uncomfortable. People don't fear the ones who shout. They fear the ones who watch in silence. Because silence isn't absence, it's presence, sharpened. It doesn't reveal anything, but it forces others to reveal everything. Silence makes people squirm. It reflects back what they try to hide. And that's terrifying. So what do most people do? They run from silence. They fill the void with words, endless, pointless words. They speak not to communicate, but to avoid being exposed, because deep down they know they have no control over their tongue. And when you can't control your tongue, you can't control your life. You speak before you think. You react before you observe. And then you wonder why people misunderstand you, why they don't respect you, why you keep getting manipulated. But the truth is simple. You gave them the ammo. The more you talk, the more you expose. Every sentence peels back another layer. Your fears, your weaknesses, your blind spots. You think you're defending yourself, but you're only making yourself easier to break. You reveal your intentions. You reveal what gets under your skin. And worst of all, you reveal that you lack discipline. Because you can't stay silent. You have to react. You have to be heard. Even if what you're saying is destroying you. Every careless word is a bullet. But the problem is, you're not aiming. You're not calculating. You're just pulling the trigger. Blindly, emotionally, self-destructively. And the person across from you, the one who stays quiet, they're collecting every bullet. Not to fight you now, but to study you, to understand you. And when the time comes, they'll use your words to destroy you from the inside out. You complain that people use you, that they twist your words, that they don't respect you. But let's be honest, you gave them the tools. You handed them the blueprint to your downfall. Not with your actions, but with your words. Every time you spoke without control, you exposed more than you realized. You showed them your intentions. You revealed what you crave, what you fear, what you can't live without. And once they knew that, you became easy to manipulate, predictable, weak. You think speaking your mind is strength. It's not when it's undisciplined, not when it's compulsive. You're not being real. You're being reckless. You're handing your enemies the keys to your psyche. Words are seeds. And what you plant today grows into the world you wake up to tomorrow. Some of you are planting destruction. Daily, you talk behind people's backs. You gossip to feel important. You boast to feel powerful. You overshare to feel seen. But all of that, that's just noise. That's just weakness bleeding out through your mouth. And the world listens more than you think. Because people are watching. They're always watching. They watch how you speak. They watch how you react. And in that watching, they measure you. They decide if you're someone they can use or someone they can't touch. And most of you, you make that decision very easy. All it takes is one conversation. You don't realize it, but your words are currency. And every time you speak without discipline, you're going broke. They remember what you said. They remember how easily you cracked under pressure. They remember how eager you were to share everything, thinking it made you relatable, honest, trustworthy. But it didn't. It made you exploitable. Because those who speak less, they don't just protect themselves. They dominate quietly. They create mystery. And in a world obsessed with exposure, mystery is power. The manipulator doesn't need to dig. They don't need to interrogate. They just sit back and let you talk. And you do. You always do. You give it all away. Voluntarily. Your fears, your dreams, your pressure points, your guilt, your desperation to be understood. And when they strike, when they twist your words and pull your strings, you call it betrayal. But that's not betrayal. That's precision. That's strategy, executed cleanly on a fool who didn't understand the value of silence. You want to be powerful? Then learn to stop bleeding information. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to justify your choices, your plans, your silence. Your mind is not a public playground. It's a fortress. Guard it. Lock the gates. Let very few in. And even then, never completely. Because words are entry points, and every time you speak without caution, you're leaving the door cracked open, just wide enough for the wrong person to slip through. Speak less, but when you do, make it count. Let your words be few but deliberate, sharp, controlled, so clean they don't need volume to cut. They cut by design. You see, people remember silence far longer than noise. They forget the ones who talk too much, but they fear the ones who speak only when necessary. Because that kind of silence, that isn't hesitation. It's calculation. It's power in its purest form, hidden until released with surgical precision. The Stoics knew this. Power doesn't scream. It doesn't beg to be understood. It holds, observes, endures, and then, only then, it moves. The warriors lived by it. One glance, one phrase, one decision spoken with clarity was enough to shift an entire battlefield. Even your enemies know this. The silent one is the most dangerous in the room, not because of what he says, but because of everything he could say, but doesn't. But you speak to fill the void, to escape the silence, to feel like you matter. You speak because you can't sit still with yourself, because the quiet terrifies you, and that's exactly where they get you. They don't even have to manipulate. You hand them everything, out of boredom, out of fear, out of insecurity. Control your tongue. Before you ruin relationships with words you can't take back, before you sabotage opportunities you begged for, before you burn bridges that took years to build. You don't need to weigh in on every conversation. You don't need to justify your every move. You don't need to prove your worth through noise. Sometimes the most dangerous thing in the room is the person who says nothing. Learn to sit with your own thoughts. Let them boil. Let them burn. And watch how they refine you. You don't always need to express, because expression without control is self-destruction. It's giving the world a weapon and hoping they don't use it against you. Silence doesn't mean you're scared. It doesn't mean you lost. It means you've evolved. It means you're no longer a puppet to your own emotions. It means you've trained your tongue. And in doing that, you've trained your mind. This is what mastery looks like. Not in shouting, not in defending yourself, but in restraint, in precision, in discipline. Because the man who controls his tongue controls the room, controls perception, controls reality. And that's real power.